Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with the DRF race of the day for Thursday, May the 19th. Race number 8 at beautiful Belmont Park. It's a second level allowance with a $45,000 claiming option. These are New York bred fillies and mares going 3/4 of a mile on the inner turf. Let's take a look at this field. Scan the QR code to access Race of the Days on your mobile device, and you can view free Race of the Day formulator past performances. Where else? On the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Take a peek, handicap along with me. When you're done analyzing the race, you can bet this race and the entire card with your DRF Bets account, which includes free formulator past performances. A lot of layoff horses coming into this race. That's a key handicapping factor because some of these horses just might not be cranked up and ready to go first time back off the winter vacation. Something to keep an eye on. We'll talk about this field in post position order, beginning with one half of the coupled entry, the number 1 Mischievous Dream. This one is trained by Christophe Clement. Irad Ortiz takes the mount, a stakes winner on turf at 2. She raced sparingly last year, only 3 times to the post. Last time out was her first race off the layoff, and I think she needed it badly. It was a 2-turn mile at Aqueduct. There was not a fast pace going on, and she got right up close to the pace, but she got tired in the stretch. I think the layoff affected her the final eighth of a mile when she hopped back to her left lead. She should be a lot fitter for this assignment, and I really like her cutting back in distance. She won her debut sprinting at Saratoga going 5.5. I think 6 is going to be good for her. I think the pace is going to be fair to fast, and she should be running late. She's a strong contender. The 2 is Sassy Melissa. Let's take a look at her most recent race. First level New York bred allowance on April the 4th at Aqueduct. Real nice ride from Jose Ortiz, who grabbed pocket position entering the turn, eased out to split horses through a tight spot, and once Sassy Melissa is through, she is on her way. She scores with a career best 78 by her speed figure. I like the fact that she stayed close to a fast pace in that race. This is a pretty steep hike, though, from the first level New York breds to the second level state bred allowance condition, which is not an issue for the number 3, Dancing with Daffodils, who is just a rock-solid veteran mare. She's banked over $361,000 in her career. She's already gone through this condition, and she's done well against open foes in her career. She's another horse that likely needed her last start. Her first race of the year came over a muddy track, going 7 furlongs against open first-level allowance horses, and she just isn't a dirt horse, A, and B, she likely needed the race while in against way tougher company. So she gets class relief, she gets back to her best surface, she has a race under her belt, she's done well going dirt to turf in the past. I look at her PPs. While she did most of her damage last year in middle distance turf races, she is capable sprinting. I think she can do anything. With her, the question is twofold. She likes to rally from the back of the pack, so A, she'll need a little bit of pace help up front, she'll need some hitting, and 2, she'll need all the holes to open up. She'll need the right trip, but you really never want to give this one short shrift because she's going to be a good price. She's going to be running at the end of this race, and she could easily spice up your exotics at the very least. The 4 is Big Q, first off the Gary Siaka claim and trying turf for the first time. This one by Big Brown, 9% winners with first-time turf starters. The dam was 0 for 4 on the surface. She has foaled 2 turf runners. None of them have won. I just wish there was a little bit more turf pedigree here. This mare was very good earlier in her career. She was a stakes winner on dirt as a 2-year-old against New York breds, while she won her most recent start and opened 3 life quarter claimer at Aqueduct on the dirt. I don't think she's improved that much from her 2-year-old campaign. I think she was just one of those precocious and early 2-year-olds. We'll see how she does on the surface switch. She should show speed in this spot. Again, I wish there was a little bit more turf pedigree. Guardian Moon might have the most upside of any of these horses. Let's watch her last race. This is her first time back from Gulfstream, back at Aqueduct on April the 15th. This is an open first-level allowance race. She was the favorite in here. It was a tough field. The winner is one of those foreign invaders for trainer Todd Pletcher. The runner-up is Shug McGahee, trained runner. Both have quality. The 4th place finisher came back to win a first level allowance on dirt with an 82 buyer. Guardian Moon got close to the pace, just couldn't finish with those horses, but really didn't show any quit in the stretch. And again, she's so lightly raced. I think that there's another forward move coming, and perhaps most importantly, she's dropping back in with New York breds. She's 2 for 2 lifetime against state breds. Both of those races sprinting on the turf. Both of her losses came against open company. So back with friends, the New York breds, and this distance is just fine for her. Social Whirl is one of the layoff horses I talked about in the Open, going out for trainer Tom Morley. She hasn't been out in 5.5 months. Let's watch her last race. She was second to a very hot horse. The winner of this race kept waiting, kept on going on dirt over the winter. She won her next 2 starts on the dirt, and then she was grade 3 placed on the surface. Social Whirl, on the other hand, is a turf filly, which is why she took the winter off. She's very consistent, 5 of 9 in the exacta. I like her tactical speed. It's just a question of how sharp she's going to be off of the long layoff. She's shown a lot of talent for Morley, and Morley might want to save something for later this summer, especially at Saratoga. Up next is the other half of the coupled entry. That's the 1A, Pure Bodie, another horse that hasn't raced since November the 27th, and she finished a good 5th, going 2 turns in a second-level state-bred race. She went to the front that day. She took some pressure on the backstretch, and she was only beaten a length. And the horse that finished directly ahead of her came back to run second at this level with an 80 Beyer speed figure. I wonder if this distance is a bit sharp and if this is just a starting off point for this horse, because she's run well at a mile. She's run well at a mile and a 16th. This 6 is a different ball game, though, and she might be outrun in the early portion of this race. I'm thinking a wait-and-see approach, although she has run some good figures on the lawn. It's a keeper, could be a sleeper. She stayed over the winter at Tampa Bay Downs. She got a race in January, and she made a mid-move and a mid and early move going a 2-turn mile in a race where the pace fell apart. So the race flow was up against her that day. She probably gained plenty of fitness from that race. A very tough second-level allowance. An open race where the winner would come back to run second in a $16,000 starter handicap with an 80 Beyer speed figure. This horse won sprinting against New York breds at Saratoga over the summer, coming from off the pace, and I think she gained a lot of fitness from her most recent start. Maybe she needs a little bit of a Beyer boost, but the last race was at a distance that might be a little bit too far for her, and again, if she gets some pace, she can come running. Like the 3, Dancing with Daffodils, I think she offers values in the exotics. Kali Magic is up next. That's the number 8. Very, very consistent, whether it's turf or dirt. She's always right there. 9 of 13 on the board for trainer Chris Engelhardt. The last time she raced on turf, you have to go all the way back in the fall at Belmont. It was an open $30,000 2-life claimer, and Kali Magic, we're going to take a look at that race right now. She ran a good second that day, really no excuses, but she earned a 65 Beyer. That is basically what she is at this point in her career. She ran faster over the winter on dirt. It makes me think she has the potential to run faster on turf because she still is a fairly lightly raced 4-year-old filly. She's consistent. There's just something telling me that this field might be a little bit too strong for her, even though she has the recency advantage. She is cutting back to a sprint. She did do good work going 7 and a mile, a 1-turn mile on the dirt this winter. Courageous Dinah's up next. We haven't seen her since the summer. She hasn't raced since August the 3rd when she was in a very tough open 2 other than at Colonial, going 5.5 furlongs. The race produced 2 next out winners. The 3rd place finisher, one of them, coming back to win with an 80 Beyer speed figure at Laurel, then ran 3rd in an open allowance there. So that was a very strong field. Courageous Dinah did good work against New York breds for most of her career. She's another horse that needs a little bit of pace up front. This layoff to me is a little bit of a concern. She's 8 years old now. This is going to be her first start off of a lengthy layoff. We'll see what we get from Courageous Dinah. Up next is the 10. That's Get the Candy. And Get the Candy is one of the speedsters in this race, making her first start since December 2nd, where she finished behind Social Whirl in the video we showed you. She went fast on the lead that day. She got tired late. She is going to be part of the pace, and if the pace isn't fast, it really helps her chances. Another lightly raced filly. She won off of a similar lengthy layoff last year, moving from dirt to turf, so I think she's going to run well fresh for a very good trainer in Michelle Nevin. The 11, Jill's a Hot Mess, might try to give her some company up on the front end. She finished 3rd in her most recent start, a race that produced 3 next out winners. She also finished behind Social Whirl. That was a very fast pace, going 6 furlongs on the inner turf at Belmont on October the 29th, and this horse got good when switched over to Linda Rice in the summer of 2021. Another horse that must deal with a lengthy layoff, but she does have some early speed, and she could be part of the pace picture. This is a fun race. This should be a real war at Belmont on Thursday. I'm going to go with the 5 in here. Love the lightly raced Guardian Moon dropping back in with New York breds. Thinks he has the tactical speed to work out any kind of a trip under Jose Ortiz, and she has competitive enough Beyer speed figures. Heck, she earned an 80 Beyer speed figure as a 3-year-old against first-level allowance horses. I still think she has more in the tank. I'm going 5, 1A, 1, and 2, and the Thursday DRF race of the day. Good luck.